Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's MJ Pankey. I'm a writer and writing consultant, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about my editing process for chapter 28, which is actually now chapter 26. My last video, chapter 27, I discussed rearranging some chapters and adding some chapters for one of my characters. And after everything was said and done, I ended up moving 4 chapters into the future and adding 2 additional chapters. So chapter 28 is now chapter 26. Are you confused? Yeah, it's part of the process. This is part of the process. Be confused. Embrace the confusion. Okay, so for this chapter 26/28, my main issues here were that it was in the wrong POV. Just as a writing tip, a good rule of thumb to assigning chapters to characters is to choose the character who is going to encounter the most conflict in the chapter. That gives you the freedom to really develop that character more, keep that reader really engaged, and really up the stakes for both the characters and the reader as they're reading each chapter. So my issue with chapter 28/26 is that the character that was the main character in this chapter, it was pointless. So this was a very boring chapter, not engaging at all, because there wasn't much conflict here. So I had to change the point of view to a different character. And once I did that, that conflict and that tension materialized. We'll see what the critique group has to say. In changing the point of view from this chapter, I needed to establish a relationship dynamic with his love interest a little bit more. That was introduced in chapter 25, just a little bit, but I needed to expand on that a little bit further. And tap into his motivations, because now he's kind of starting to go a different direction from where he started off in the beginning, because of the conflict that is ramping up in this chapter with him specifically. So I needed to take this opportunity to develop his motivations a little bit more and introduce a little bit more conflict with him, and his love interest and his overall goal for the book. And I also needed to drop in a lead for the tertiary villain in this chapter. His dots really weren't connecting in the previous draft. They just kind of were scattered around, were kind of incoherent. So I needed to take this chapter to really evolve that for him more, and make that more clear, not only to the reader, but I do want them to be able to go back and connect the dots when they get to the part where they're like, oh yeah, I knew that guy was a bad guy. And I want them to be able to recall this chapter and be like, yep, that was the moment. So that's kind of my purpose for this. We'll see how well I was able to edit that for the critique group. So I will have that in a future video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in a future video. Happy writing.